Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Once again, I'm Ned from Ned's Tech, but otherwise known as your friendly neighborhood basement dweller. Don't worry, ma'am, I am from the internet. I come from an internet where we break people out of cults. I've seen people with their minds taken over by very Christian, pagan, etc. cults. This stuff happens. I've seen people have their mind reprogrammed. I've watched hypnotists take over people's minds. And if you've ever been to a hypnotist, you know, they got this thing that they do. You're getting sleepy, and then they do this thing with your arm. And if you pass the test, you go down or you stay on the stage, right? So people get hypnotized. TikTok can hypnotize people. Influential people can change your mind. If you have someone you love and trust telling something totally unconscionable, it will mess with you. My older brother once told me that he believes that shape-shifting lizard people from the Andromeda constellation, which is actually a universe on Orion's belt, are here to eat the adrenal glands of children that they torment, and these shape-shifting lizard people are being controlled by basically angels who basically work for God. They're interdimensional creatures that want people to be afraid because fear gives a frequency they can eat. Like, this is someone I loved and trusted, and it's like he went and then he came, like, what the frick happened, right? He went to the city, he came back with this bad idea. What the frick happened to him, right? Okay, next thing I want you to get. I went from Catholicism. I didn't choose. I was a kid, right? School. Catholicism. Baptist. Like, Baptist? What? And I learned all these horrible things that pagans did. There was a youth group teacher named Marcel that told us horrible things that we were too young to understand or know about, like the Satanic Panic. He was one of these individuals who were broken in the head and believed that he was part of child sacrifice, that he was, man, it's easier to think about this stuff than it is to say it, that he was part of child sacrifice, that he sacrificed someone. He, wow, I can't even say it, but that he had to a little girl, and then he had to and then with a heart. And he told us all, like, there were I'm mad about this now. There I was in grade 9, and there were grade 6s, maybe even younger there, and I didn't say anything. And because of that, some of this stuff would later on go on to bug some of these kids. I know it sure as hell went on to bug me. I was too young to understand any of this stuff. It shouldn't have been given to me. There was no reason why he had to give me this information. Tell me horrible things like really nuanced things too that have a little bit of truth in them, like black cats were sacrificed by pagans. Like, they're definitely sacrificed by crazy people some places every Halloween. We know that. But that they would the cat open and the stuff out and put it in a jack-o'-lantern because that's the way they praise Satan. It's like, this is my youth group teacher, right? You trust people who are teachers giving you this crazy information. It messed with, I specifically remember how much it messed with me. I specifically remember how upset I was. And the information he was giving, I was like, if you have a wart, it means a witch has cursed you. And some really other messed up stuff that I'm just not getting out on here. But it traumatized me, right? Now on TikTok, on Reddit, on these places, there's absolutely a woke mind virus that has gone through our heads that nobody's checking, and because of that, a lot of us are going to feel really bad about this stuff, and we have the responsibility. I feel a little guilty for being part of an internet that has been taken over by this virus. And I want to talk to you about this virus. I'm a member of the LGBTQ. I am bisexual. I've seen one up close. I have never voted anything more than left. I am left, but a woke mind virus has gotten into our system the same way something got into Marcel's brain. Marcel was supposed to be a leader. He was put in a leadership position, but he failed us. All of us. Hardcore. Now, here's the issue that I ran into after I talked to him. I went over to the pagan community, and I found out about half the time pagans are just complaining about Christians, like, straight up. And you get the patriarchy over here. Okay, well, you get a matriarchy over here. It's the same evil side of the same damn coin, but since everyone's been oppressed by the males, everyone goes with the females. But it's the same evil on the other side of the coin. There is so much oppression for white men in pagan communities, and everyone knows it. And every guy who has ever been part of a pagan community knows it. So, like, what they're supposed to do is be better. But instead, what they are is the same thing. Like, I'm powerful now. I'm not good, but I'm powerful. Maybe if I'm powerful, I will immediately be good. The LGBTQ has been taken over by a small amount of people who have this idea that want to wrangle power and control. It came directly from TikTok, an app that is basically made and used to destroy Western society. Now everyone's going to be like, no, that's not true. That's not true. Okay, here's the reality that you don't realize about. TikTok, owned by ByteDance, part of the CCP. Chinese people are off the shelf. Awesome. I love them. Culture, religion, the best. CCP, get them out of there. Get them out of there. Not good. Not good. Not good. You have no idea the reality. If you're in the West, you have no idea the reality that the Great Leap Forward did. You have no idea the reality, the Opium War that not the progressives, but the colonials put on China. China didn't want anything to do with anyone else, but the colonialists wanted their tea, so they took Taiwan, they took Hong Kong, and they're like, bring that stuff out, or we'll give you more opium. They drowned them in opium. Like, guys, like, that's a hell that we are personally partially responsible for, even though we are not responsible for it at all. Where does responsibility end? Like, I do legitimately feel like I wish that I could raise the dead and talk to my ancestors about getting people addicted to opium, because I've also seen images of people selling their wife and daughter for money for opium. It's like, so now TikTok is the opiate of the masses over on the left. We have so many issues going on that we don't want to talk about. But because the people on the left come from a school of love, we immediately think everything's okay and we forego certain checks. Now, because of this, we get issues like the church doing the exact same thing, letting Marcel get in, letting Marcel say his messed up stuff that put me on a spiritual quest that led me into some really messed up and interesting places. But Marcel's at the helm when it comes to the DEI, this stuff. And we're letting him in there because we kind of feel bad for him and we feel like he's a powerful person. He's also a very damaged person. The individual that started the Zulus, he got to where he was because he was freaking crazy. The Zulu guy, and then after that, he was freaking crazier. He was really crazy. Like, seriously, you get a lot of crazy people in power that sometimes were beaten down by so much that by the time they get power, their mind is gone. Their mind is freaking gone. We have let the LGBTQ in multiple places, and we need to let them fail. We need to tell them that they've failed. They need to get better, and then we need to all move on. They're people like the rest of us, right? But the woke mind virus is just like Marcel at the church, telling people, okay, now here's TikTok earlier. TikTok earlier was telling people about mental health issues. No one was asking, nobody in the West was looking to identify themselves with mental health issues. That was pushed on them by TikTok. I didn't see it anywhere else. TikTok, 100%. And I just want to scream that nobody was looking for that information. It was given to them. It's basically like everyone went into the youth group. They had a good time, threw the ball around a bit, hung out, and then Marcel handed out flyers saying why they needed to switch their genitalia and preaching about God saying, change your genitalia. Now, I'm not saying, now he absolutely didn't say that. But, like, let's say that these LGBTQ, we get one we get one Marcel in there, and how much it can fuck up a bunch of kids. The church did it, yeah, like, that's the thing. We can talk about the church doing it. We can talk about the Christian church doing it. We can't talk about anybody else doing it. And in that is an objective hell. If hell is an idea, then that is an objective hell. And anybody putting us, social justice warriors, putting us in this position, have no idea anything about Eastern belief systems. Legitimately, don't have any idea about Eastern belief systems. One thing that a woke individual sent me, who I love, legitimately, I love this individual, sent me a video of a black person saying, basically saying that, oh, I was just even the way that he brought this up. He was a teacher. It was like he was like, you should be able to. I could go into a. You should be. It just hurts my head how stupid this was. I'm gonna try to bring it together so you can understand. It was a black person. It was sitting there with a board, and it was like, girls are 16 to something year old. Girls between the 16 and something year old are more likely to be abused. Why? And he's getting lots. He's taken 5 minutes to get answers from people, and then I'm not even sure how he ties it to it, but the next thing he says is, you get a car, you drive to the corner store, you leave the keys on top of the car, and you come back. Are the keys there? Yes, the keys are there. Okay, now you do it in Mumbai. Same thing. Keys are there. Now, what's the difference? What's the difference? Now, this legitimately broke my brain because I'm not seeing any difference at all. And what he says, society has to do better. Society, you need a society that needs to do better. Okay, guys, society is never going to be that good. It's as if these progressives are saying society should be so good that women should be able to leave their sexuality out the same way that you should be able to leave the keys on the hood of your car. The thing is, that is so unconscionable. That is not reasonable. That is a 14-year-old girl's daydream about how good society should be. Should it be that way? Yes, it should be that way. Is society good enough to be that way? No. And you're all a bunch of wishful idiots for thinking it should be. Communism doesn't freaking work. Show me one place where it does. I'm not saying it should work. It should work. Yes, you should be able to leave your sexuality out. Nobody takes it. But guys, once again, Buddhism, good and bad, bad and good. You're always going to have evil. You are not going to not have evil within your society. All these progressives like saying namaste and all this stuff. I respect your journey. No, you don't. You don't respect anyone's journey but yourself. You don't respect anyone's pain. This is almost as like there's a victim Olympics, and if you have more victim and trauma, you're a better person these days. So yeah, I'm gonna try this one more time. Imagine a bunch of kids go to a place. Yeah, hey, this is just a place where a bunch of kids hang out, right? We don't have to be Christian or anything like that. We don't have to be LGBTQ. We'll just come and hang out because this place facilitates an area that's just safe for kids. This is a safe place for kids, right? Yeah, we'll play. We'll do those things. We'll listen to some music, and this music will be about God or whatever that thing is. And then after that, we all sit down and it's Bible study time. It's LGBTQ study time. Let's go over our LGBTQ information. And then we start talking about how if you feel like a woman, maybe you are. And it's okay to be a woman, and it's okay to lose your wieners. And if your parents don't agree with you, they are oppressive. And that's okay because we come from a place where everyone's oppressive. We don't even know how oppressed we are. Oppression has gone on so much, and there's so much institutionalized oppression going on. Yeah, you know what? Let me show you. Let me show you what the progressives say this new oppression is, okay? So, everyone has been screwed by the colonist powers, which is partly true. And any sadness that exists not because of somebody's ability to do their job. Everyone is able to be good and everyone is able to do their stuff. But the only reason why not everyone is good is because there's an oppressive patriarchy trying to keep you down. But the problem with this is that sometimes just getting up to the middle takes a lot. Sometimes getting up to the middle means you have to work really hard to be a good person. It is hard. Rising is hard. This is work. Getting out of bed every day is work. Getting the stuff you need is work. Getting your resources together is work. And I know so many progressive women who, well, the woman that I recently loved, who was known for protesting more than me. She never wore masks, so usually it was people dragging her. She seriously believed that she shouldn't have to work ever. No responsibility. She seriously believes that if you have a pop can, you should be able to drop that can wherever it is. It's not your responsibility. You go and buy a can of pop. You enjoy that pop. You should just be able to drop it. It's the responsibility of the corporation to make sure that that can that is dropped is eco-friendly. It's not her responsibility to go to a facility and just drop it in a can. It's not your responsibility. Everyone wants everything. Nobody wants any responsibility to do anything. And it's freaking amazing. It's freaking amazing. So what we're literally going to have soon is people growing up hating DEI, hating the left the same way that I grew up to hate Christians because I found out that they weren't really interested in my best interest. They were interested in something. Some of them were interested in my best interest. And legitimately, I know that within those groups of Christians, there was a lot of love from some people, but some people were really messed up. And hey, that's normal these days. I think one part about being an adult is to realize that there is no one set group of people who is good all the time. The police aren't good all the time. The CIA have issues with drugs and being freaking lazy. I mean, if you ever hear the reason why the guy got into the White House, that the crazy guy got into the White House and made it as far as he did, you'll agree with me. The FBI is not a bunch of super intelligent Boy Scouts. Not everyone in prison deserves to be there. There's so much nuance, especially with that. Like Biden telling everyone that no one can accuse my family of anything and letting so many people off is basically because Trump got nailed with something that he shouldn't have gotten nailed with. We're all just getting our panties in a bunch. The only reason why Trump has charges on him that stuck is because he got a judge that hated him. Like there are people in the markets who are like that all the time. We all know things that we could be busted for that we don't get busted for. And that's the reason that we have the issues that we have going on. We need to take care of this woke mind virus. This woke mind virus is coming out the same way Christians have, saying we are with God, and since we are with God, we are good. We don't need to prove ourselves because we are with God, we are automatically good. Well, corruption gets in everywhere. It gets into the LGBTQ. It got into Reddit through the LGBTQ. And we kept it there. I forget what her name was. But maybe a lot of people have forgotten. A lot of people on Reddit quit. They protested because they hired someone from the UK who, although wasn't convicted of being a pedophile, was clearly guilty of some sketchy stuff. There is no way she did not hear the screams of her father's victim in the attic. She was too close. She would have heard the screams. Half of Reddit had to shut down before they got rid of this individual. Google that. It was the moderator of music that had to shut down first. Took the site offline. Had to take the site offline. And they got banned, I'm pretty sure. Now, here's the thing. We got a lot of fucked up stuff happening. And we're not allowed to talk about it. How long did Epstein, Diddy, Weinstein get away with what they got away with? We have facilitated an idea that everything is okay and then just gone to work and not done anything about it, basically, and thought that everything would be okay. But it's not okay. Anyways, this woke mind virus is definitely here. It's not very responsible. It's going to drag us backwards, whining, unfortunately. But the thing is, they got a bit of a point. Legitimately. People have been messed with uh, based off their gender, based off of their background, based off of all of these things. There's a reason why the progressives are coming forward with their complaints, while they're trying to take over power, why they're doing all of this stuff. There's a reason. The reason is the same, is almost the same as to say, I am not going to let my black cat out on Halloween because I'm worried some crazy bastard is going to kill it. That's what the pagans say. The pagans aren't worried about pagans killing their cats. Pagans know pagans worship cats. You have to be next level up to do that. But at the same time, you can't say that it doesn't happen because even the pagans keep their animals on the inside. So for the LGBTQ and the people in it saying that they were basically sent through the meat grinder, yeah, that absolutely happened to some of them. But the LGBTQ and the progressives are pulling things, and TikTok's really bad for this, taking something and stretching it, like really stretching it. Those crazy people aren't taking the body parts and putting them in jack-o'-lanterns and doing that stuff with. That's not happening. That's not, if you want to, like legitimately, if you want to go through what they do with those cats, like we don't want to talk about that stuff, but there's meaning at the end of this, right? I don't want Marcel messing with anybody else. So if we have to go into the meaning of that, then maybe we should. Maybe there's more meaning that we should get into. Yeah, I don't like talking about my personal experiences, but if I don't, maybe there's going to be more kids out there that are going to decide to change their genitalia because we get someone like Marcel handing out little pieces of paper, giving them excellent reasons of why their parents hate them. Society is after them, and we need to have a revolt. At the same time, legitimately, society is so difficult for young people that I wonder if many of them are going to legitimately, honestly be able to enter society without having to claim some kind of a handicap. Because, guys, it's so hard to get food. It's so hard to get a house. Everything seems stacked for investors and the older, not all of them, but we definitely have a problem here. The woke mind virus is here because of cancers that were actually here, issues that actually exist, but we've let it become such a goddamn monster because nobody's checking it. And now we have issues where we have people under the protection of the LGBTQ that are monsters and should be called out, like John Money. Now here, I expect if you watch this long, you don't know who John Money is, take the personal responsibility, go look it up. He's a perfect example. He was progressive. He was all about different sexualities. He understood gender dysphoria. And there was a little Canadian boy in Manitoba that had his genitalia burnt off because of an accident when they were trying to do the Jew tip, chip, chip. They used a hot iron and it burnt him right off. So he heard the family, man. The hell that came after that. I swear, if the doctors would have just, it might have been better. I don't mean this, but it might have been better if the doctors would have just put that kid out of his misery right there and just gave him a shot. Because the hell that started with that has become a hell for other people too. Oh, and it breaks my heart. But we have to have this conversation because things are being taken over by this woke mind virus. It is absolutely hurting us. So this child, they heard on Sally Jesse Raphael. The parents seen an advertisement for this location. This I forget the school, university, but it was a wonderful place that many people go to. And anyways, John Money said, we can raise this kid to be a girl. We'll give it girl stuff, put around girls, everything will be fine. Everything will be fine. I'm going to write up a paper about it, about how it works, and how everything's great. And he did. The paper got released, and people on the LGBTQ were using that information, saying, I can raise a boy to be a girl. Two children died because of it. 2 people died because of it, maybe more. That's not how it fucking works, John. That's not how it fucking works. It took the personal responsibility of another doctor to check his facts that got written up in journals that had been used in academia, even though it's been removed from journals up to 2015. You can't raise a little boy to be a little girl by giving it toys. You can't. It didn't work. The children didn't accept them. The boy wanted boys' toys. The boys go after the toys they want. They don't go after the toys you spread around them. That's not how this shit works. That's not how this shit works. And if we don't talk about this, we are guilty. John Money is guilty of abusing 2 children. Even before they died, he abused them. Even off of the medical thing, he abused them. If you think that he didn't abuse them, then you also don't think that Nazi experiments were wrong. And you think these are all the same thing. And hey, let's forgive the Nazis then, too. Now, in that argument is that sacrifice cat argument. Are pagans actually sacrificing cats? No. But some crazy people are, and we gotta watch our cats for those crazy people. Same thing with the LGBTQ. Are parishioners graping children? No. But it happens. We gotta watch out for that. Okay. This is hard to say as a progressive. This is hard for me to say, but it needs to be said because of the yin yang. Are drag queens hurting kids? No, but there's a potential. And if we just act like all of these drag queens are fine, it's just acting like all Christians are fine. Don't let Marcel at your youth. Marcel has been messed up. He has been to bad places. He's a good person. He's not the type of person you want suggesting things to your youth about what reality is actually like, because he doesn't actually understand reality. And it's okay. I don't give 2 craps if it hurts his feelings that I have that point of view, because it hurts kids. The LGBTQ has the ability to hurt kids. The woke mind virus is hurting kids, so we need to talk about it. Don't let kids mess with their stuff until they're old enough. Legitimately. When I was 16, I was still collecting G.I. Joes from flea markets. When I hear about the level of responsibility some other people are taking on 16, it freaking floors me. It really floors me. We need wokeness, but we need to keep it in check. And we need to love each other. That's it for me, folks. Ned from NezTech Bits. Have a good one. Take care of each other.